Namaskar and a very warm welcome to this special webinar by Jagran New Media. I am Smriti Rastogi. Well, when it comes to the investment management industry, a lot of questions pop up in our minds. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce you to the strategy and roadmap to achieve interesting career opportunities and success in the investment industry. We are hopeful that students and young professionals will benefit a lot from the expertise of our guests here. We will delve into the topic of the investment management industry, the available career opportunities, and the skills required to be successful, which will help interested candidates kickstart a bright career. Financial managers have a huge responsibility of managing people's hard-earned money, which they hand over to them with great confidence. Now it becomes imperative for these managers to responsibly make those finances a better investment for their clients by following ethics. Well, to better understand this topic, I am joined by four special guests, holders, and today with us are some distinguished speakers from the community. Let me introduce our guests one by one. Mr. Shamit Chokshi, CFA, Head Offshore Fund Investments, ICICI Prudential Assets Management Company. Mr. Anil Ghelani, CFA, Head of Passive Investment and Products, DSP Mutual Funds. Ms. Himani Shah, CFA, Senior Vice President, Investment and Research, Alchemy Capital. Mr. Jayesh Gandhi, CFA, MIM, Head Equities, Offshore and AIF Strategies, Baroda BNP Paribas Asset Management. A very warm welcome everyone and thank you so much for joining us today. Well, starting off with Mr. Shamit Chokshi first. Mr. Chokshi, when choosing this career, what thoughts actually guided your decision? And how did you prepare for this and which were the courses available then?
Yeah, so I think this goes back a long way in sometime in 1998, 99 when I was an auditor for a very large bank in Mumbai. And somewhere I felt that I'm working too much in the back office as an auditor, and as a person I enjoyed interacting with the dealers and being part of the live markets. And that's when I realized that I need to transition my career a bit towards the investing side of things, more from the audit perspective. So I think the first step that came to my mind was something called the CFA program. And in a very nutshell, it is a very niche program offered in the early 2000s in India. And somewhere I saw that people around me were pursuing it for a career in global investing, but I thought it's a good start to transition my career in the right space. And that's how I ended up doing a level 1 of the program, and then finding my way through with a large, I would say a large investment bank promoted advisory firm, which was essentially advising corporates and institutions on their investments into mutual funds and also into the primary market. So it was a good start for me. And I think I found my place there in terms of what I want to do in the future, what I felt was in line with the skill set that I had always envisioned to develop within my career. And it was a good start. But then, as we say, you need to go the extra mile to avoid a lot of competition. And I think that's where I started thinking that, okay, I'm here at an investment firm as an analyst trying to do some basic work on the investment side of things, but how do I succeed here? And in those days, it was very, very obvious that you were either a CA or an MBA graduate to start a meaningful career in Mumbai. So I think I was very clear. I wanted to step out of my hometown and explore the world, get some hard skills in investing. And somewhere I felt that the CFA program is definitely going to be relevant from a professional learning standpoint, but the basic skill sets were still missing. So I went on to do an MBA, and after which I decided that, when I'm working in an asset management firm, I will continue doing the CFA program and sort of combining my professional experience with the kind of knowledge you gather in the CFA program and move up the ladder in a very specialized way in the field of investing. So I think that was essentially the roadmap I took towards coming into this industry by design. I think it's the most satisfying part of the field of finance, because if at all there is any intellect and intelligence which is required to be utilized on a daily basis, it is the investment management field, not the investment bank or not the other parts of financial services. It is here there where you meet economists, dealers, traders. You will meet some crazy amount of ESG experts in these days who come and talk about very interesting things every morning, and I just enjoy the intellectual stimulation here. And I think that keeps us going in this field. I enjoy the idea of being in the front office, as I said earlier. Not being behind the scenes, but rather leading the scenes in terms of the markets. So I think I enjoy those kind of experiences, and that's how I designed my career to be in this field.
Definitely, Mr. Chokshi, it was very impressive. And as you shared, I'm sure that you are among the torch bearers for those who are thinking, who are planning, and who are dreaming to make a career in this industry. Coming to you, Mr. Ghelani, as an expert, could you share your career progression and achievements with the audience, shedding light on the career growth possible in this sector?
I think this sector of investment management in India, we are in a very sweet spot. There is a huge potential for growth.
True.
As regards career progression, I'll share my journey. And before that, something which comes to top of my mind, being a Gujarati speaking young professional, I would like to highlight one thing. In Gujarati, we say that જેની પાસે ધૈર્ય છે, સફળતા તેની દાસી છે. Means in English, the one who has patience, success is bound to come to you. So sometimes in this field, you have to gradually work towards enhancing your role. And I feel CFA program helped me a lot to make this gradual shift. So I joined in the back office of the mutual fund. Gradually, I moved to joining risk management, then gradually into a fund management role in our pension fund. And at some point of time, additional responsibility as a CEO of one of our subsidiary company. But if I would have demanded from day one that, okay, I want to become a fund manager, or I want to become a research analyst, it would be very difficult. So I would like to highlight this and share that career progression in this industry will sometimes be gradual as you gain more on-the-job skills and relevant knowledge enhancement. One such way of getting the relevant knowledge enhancement I found useful was that I started pursuing my CFA program at that point of time. And as I moved through the CFA program level 1, 2, and 3, I found it helped me in a great way to enhance my knowledge along with my work experience, which was being added up. So it helped me in my career progression. So this is something which I would like to share as my personal experience in terms of career progression and the growth potential.
This is very rightly mentioned by you, Mr. Ghelani, that this sector has huge potential, and people like you who have achieved success and who are at the top, guiding the young force of the country to make the best of the industry will definitely help them achieve what they are dreaming of. Coming to you, Himani, as we were discussing even before the webinar started about your journey and how impressive it has been, and definitely it feels proud to have you on the panel today. So the entry of women into finance is motivating. I would request you to share your journey and insights on current opportunities in the sector.
Thank you. That's very nice of you to say that. Starting with opportunities in the investment management industry. So the industry, given the fact that the financialization of savings has started to happen in India, we are seeing the deepening of the markets as well. What is essentially happening is that there are a lot of avenues opening up for especially the investment management industry. Now, if we break up investment management, it could be into equities, it could be debt, it could be FX, it could be commodities. And what we are seeing is there are roles in equity research, there's sales, there's wealth management, there's trading, there's also a quantitative side to, funds, investment management. There is quantitative research and trading happening. There are hedge funds, there are family offices, there are PMSs, there are AIFs, so all of this has kind of opened up a plethora of opportunities across the board for people wanting to pursue investment management. Looking back in my career, and how I have progressed, I kind of agree with Anil, and I would say that it is basically a marathon and not a sprint when you want to be in the investment management industry. When I started out, I kind of opted for this profession because I thought the ROIs were very attractive. If you just think of it, the kind of investment or the kind of money that you put in to acquire, say, a CFA degree, and the kind of jobs you get just at the starting level kind of are very, very remunerative. So the ROI perspective has always been something that kind of has struck my mind. Again, being a Gujarati, it is important what is what is the value for money. So if you look at it in that sense, this profession is something which kind of gives the best ROIs. My progression in this career happened. I started off as an industrial training doing FX, and I realized I kind of like the whole markets business or the financial management business, basically because every day is new. Every day you get to study new things, and there is no limit to how much you can learn in this industry. So I started out doing equity research, on the sell side. Then I moved to equity sales. I did trading. I also worked with, a long short fund, and now I'm working with a long only fund. So there is a plethora of opportunities that is available for investment management professionals and people who are wanting to get into the industry. Another important thing is women getting into the investment management industry at the starting level. Now that women are pursuing more degrees, to get into the financial management industry or the investment management industry is going to be, there are equal opportunities both for men and women. So there is no stopping even women coming into the industry. As you move up, I believe women are the best in finance who other than women handles the budgets at home. So I do believe women are very good at finance, but in a formal way, women have never been there in the investment management industry. And so what has happened is there is a little more scrutiny that happens when women enter the industry. We will, as women, we have to be a little more disciplined to be able to move up the ranks. But having said that, now that there are more women in the leadership roles, that actually opens up again many avenues for women to, move up ladders, move up in the investment management field as well. So I think as women, the good part is that, women are studying more. They are actually getting more degrees. And having said that, now with more women on the leadership role, you'll see more and more avenues opening up even for women to, hopefully the next seminar you do, you'll probably have more women in the investment management.
Absolutely, Himani, and the way this sector has evolved, I think not going much back, but of late, like the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, I think that period has been phenomenal. And the way you just mentioned that women are coming to the forefront and there are better opportunities and avenues. This brings me to my next question to Mr. Jayesh, that this sector is evolving and so is the curriculum. Like as mentioned by Mr. Chokshi, that he, I think, started his career in 1998, and today in 2023, November, when we are sitting here, a lot of things have happened, a lot of evolution has happened, and this sector has also evolved. And when we talk about the curriculum, how do you see this curriculum, evolution of the curriculum in this sector over a period of time?
First of all, thank you for having me. It is indeed a pleasure to be part of the August team and this event. No, curriculum is the most important. It's the core, it's the foundation which attracts students and professionals into this program. The entire curriculum has undergone significant changes over the last 3 decades. I remember, and some of us are really old, when we first saw the curriculum way back in the late 90s, 1990s or early 2000, when the first time the exam started being conducted in India, I'm talking about the CFA program, the curriculum was what really excited all of us. I remember reading the entire curriculum in 1 week when I first saw the books. It was just magnificent. I had never read anything so good, so great about the industry, about investment management, as a subject as the investment management, and about all the asset classes, be it equity, fixed income, commodities, so on and so forth, and the way the entire economics of the whole business, as well as the modalities of how one should go about doing research, so on and so forth, was very, very nicely and neatly described. What the CFA Institute has done very, very productively and judiciously over the last several years is to continuously update the program to make it relevant for that particular point of time. So I'll give you an example. Every year, the Institute has a body which does survey with practical investment managers and professionals working in the industry. The feedback of each and every subject, sub-subjects and modules is taken from these practicing feedback, from practicing professionals, and is incorporated into the program. And the program gets updated and upgraded by the relevant new modules and new the quantitative analysis, etc., being added continuously into the program. So the program or the books that we learned and studied 20 years ago are no longer there. They are entirely new set of curriculum, new set of material which is available, which is at cutting edge of financial and investment management industry required in this present age and time. And that is what makes this program very unique, robust, and to the time which is today. And that is what really adds value to the students who are joining it. That they are not reading books which are 10 years and 20 years old, but they are reading books and content and material which is relevant. Not only that, the Institute has regularly added new subjects. I mentioned quantitative analysis, AI, machine learning, so on and so forth, and various new dimensions of technology which are being added to the financial services industry, the investment industry, which are added as topics in the program. So, to summarize, the program and the content of the education material is the core, which really helps the students and the professionals looking to learn and join the industry to be at the forefront of understanding and knowledge, and which they can again use to deliver value to the clients ultimately once they pass on the exam and start practicing into the industry. So I think curriculum is the core and the most important part of the CFA program.
Absolutely, Mr. Gandhi. And one more thing I think you would like to add to it is that this curriculum, the evolution of this curriculum or the change which has happened, which has been unique, the journey of this curriculum in the last 20 years has been exceptional, and it is bringing the students or the professionals at par when it comes to global excellence. I think we are at par globally when we are understanding the change, the learning process which is required, Mr. Gandhi.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I would agree with you. And CFA program is one of the few programs which gives you a designation which is globally recognized. The CFA designation is regarded as a gold standard within the investment management industry, recognized across the world, and the CFA professionals are the much sought out professionals for the investment industry across the world. And it is here now, sitting in India, that you can actually be part of the program and get the accreditation, for this degree, sitting here in India, and be part of this CFA Institute and the society and the community across the world. So it's really a very, very important institutional framework that the CFA community and the institute has been able to build.
Right. So, coming to you, Mr. Chokshi, I'm sure that beyond the CFA curriculum, it is important to have or learn additional skills for the development of the career. In what ways does CFA Institute help you in your professional journey beyond CFA program? My first question, in your opinion, what are the current trends in the finance and investment industry so far?
Yeah, sure. So I think coming back to the first question, the CFA program essentially is the only technical program, in my view, that trains people to be professional investors in the first place. I believe that the kind of quantitative learning that Jayesh mentioned earlier, as well as some of the real world portfolio management skills that you pick up while doing the program, very little of it is actually taught in more full-time courses outside the CFA curriculum. So, for example, an MBA or any other master's degree would not really prepare you for the kind of diligence, detailing, and the level of quantitative work that you could do on portfolios. So, essentially, it is. I don't see any other replacement for CFA program when it comes to being a portfolio manager. In terms of additional support, I think what I really like about the CFA Institute and the program over the last 20 years is that they constantly guide you every year with refresher programs. You have access to so many conferences. There's something called professional learning credits that we as members end up earning by taking up additional learning and in-person events. I think in that sense, this program is sort of auto updates itself every year. And it also sort of takes into consideration aspects related to global investments and finance. It's not just very US focused as many people actually thought so earlier. It's actually a global investment program. And it also incorporates a lot of real world issues in portfolios, economics and investing that we face almost every day in our career. So I can assure you that I have never, if ever there was any question on how to do something in investing, open up a CFA program book or go on the CFA Institute website and you'll find an answer to that, either through the research papers that they release, through the kind of studies or books that they constantly publish, or even through the professional learning events that you attend, whether you're in India or anywhere else. I think there's always an answer to any of your questions on investing. So from that perspective, I think they've been very supportive, and I don't see any other institution being at the forefront of mass learning and investing anywhere in the world. Of course, you can always focus on doing a PhD at some point once you've spent a few decades in your career, but that's something at a much later stage of your career. Coming to your second question, I think you asked about the future trends in investing and asset management careers. I think as a director at the society, we've been debating a lot of these topics, and two things come to foremost to my mind. One is the digitization of the business itself. I think the way technology has engulfed the asset management industry a bit late, though, but at the same time, it has also added a dimension of integrating a lot more technical skills among senior professionals as well as people who are just starting off the career. For example, whether it's analyzing data, you need to really have significant skill sets in analyzing data through various systems and softwares, or whether it's looking at research from a very quantitative mindset or using artificial intelligence. I think there's a lot more happening in the industry than we actually see. It's not just sitting on a table and analyzing stocks, but you need a lot of data points across the world. And at some point, I think one human cannot cover everything, right? They cannot research everything every day. So they need to be more technologically capable to use systems to guide them and to prompt them with some kind of research inputs. So that's one thing. Second, obviously, is the field of ESG investing. I'm very passionate about that field. At the same time, I think it is possibly the fastest growing career path within asset management on the investing side of things. The world is obviously becoming much more conscious about how we look after our planet and our people and companies. And from that perspective, I think the way global investment professionals and firms have invested into building ESG expertise or practices. I think we are short of talent there. We are short of people who understand that ESG is not just about doing something for investing, but rather a way of life as an investment professional, because it's also behavioral, and at some point I think it is most relevant for the younger generation, because as they get into the field of research and investing, they can possibly make ESG a part of their ongoing research skill set. You don't have to really plug and play at a later stage in your career. It can come out much naturally. It is at the same time you possibly have better chances of growing your career in a highly competitive industry, I must say, because we produce so many graduates every year, that the best way, how do you really outshine and invest in the investment world? I think this is one way of outshining at an early stage in your career, getting picked up by some of the mutual funds or even some of the research houses covering equity research or fixed income research. So I think I see these two trends significantly altering the asset management investment activities in the near to medium term. Of course, there are a lot more, but I'll leave it to the other speakers on the show to comment as well.
Mr. Chokshi, there were a lot of takeaways from your answer, and what important point which stayed with me is the mass learning program, which the CFA program is all about. So taking it forward from there, Himani, I'll come to you. It is very important that one keeps upskilling themselves. How should one prepare to excel in CFA exam? My first question. And how can one continue to keep learning, to keep upskilling, even after achieving their CFA charter?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. One thing that struck with me, even though I gave my CFA almost like 20 years back, but one thing that has always struck with me is that the whole CFA curriculum is very much logic based. So you may do as many test modules, as many, those sample sets, but unless and until you understand the logic or the point that that particular sentence is trying to make, or the logic with which you use that particular formula, you will not be able to clear the CFA exam. So the way to go about with the CFA exam is that understand the logic. Spend a little time on trying to evaluate what that particular sentence or that formula is trying to, what point is it trying to send across, or how is it that it's solving a particular problem. The other thing is, if you don't get it by thinking it by yourself, you can go on the social media, look for answers. Now there are a lot of answers that you get on the net. You can also go, network with people, talk to people. There are CFAs, like you mentioned. There are, so if you go to them, speak to them, understand what the logic behind this particular formula. What is it that how do you come across this particular situation? Then what should be done? So, like I said, it's always important. Like a CFA curriculum is actually very easy if you understand it with the sense of understanding the logic behind the question. And then any way they twist and turn the exam question, it's easy to answer because you already know the logic of it. Having said that, once you clear the and you've understood the logic behind what every part of the syllabus that you're trying to study, it will not just help you with the exam, but it will also help you later in life. And the other part is that having done your CFA, it gives you, I think it gives you the aptitude to keep learning, to understand that, what is, okay, if there's a new thing that has come in the market, like Shamit mentioned about ESG investing. He also mentioned about quantitative. So if there is a new thing that is evolving in the market, what the CFA exam will do is make you, develop that aptitude in you to go and understand what is the new thing that has come up in the market. What is that new thing that I need to learn? So the continuous learning aptitude that you need to have is something that the CFA curriculum is actually very good at, apart from the quantitative part of it, the behavioral part also, with these aptitudes which are developed during the, doing the CFA exam, is something that kind of, develops in children. I've seen across the board. So, so I think that's something that logic, again, I keep saying this word more and more often, but logic, simplify it, understand what it's trying to say. that will help you around every time in life, and keep updating with, reading, traveling again, meeting new people, understanding what's going on around the world is also a way to kind of increase your knowledge. Reading on different subjects, reading about the world, what's going on in the world, The Economist, and there are so many articles that newspapers, all of that kind of helps to upscale. I think there are a lot of these events that the CFA Institute also organizes, which are a great way to not just understand the subject, but also to go network. There are people who come from different fields. So if there's a particular subject that you want to get more knowledge about, you can always go and, meet that person and, speak to them about that subject that you want more knowledge about. So yeah, all of this kind of helps to excel in the industry that you want.
Absolutely, Himani, very well said. And I think, be it any industry, I think growth is directly proportional to upskilling, to learning, to have this aptitude to learn and keep, enhancing your knowledge, because that is very important. So I think similarly in this career opportunity also, the more you are open to gain knowledge, to learn, I think that will boost your career. Am I right, Himani?
Absolutely. You just put it the right way.
And coming to you, Mr. Ghelani, I would like to understand that employers' preferences when hiring financial professionals, how do they view CFA charter holders?
Typically, when I'm hiring somebody in my team, I look for multiple things. Of course, the person should fit the right context and the right role. But structurally, I like to look at somebody with some, I define it in my mind, and I have a very clear-cut picture about it whenever I'm doing the meetings with candidates with my HR team, that the candidate should have certain rare capabilities, rare R-A-R-E, R-A, right attitude and aptitude, and R-E, robust ethics.
Wow.
In the world of finance, you can be the best mathematician, you can be the best analyst, but if you don't have the right or robust ethics, you are bound to meet with some or the other accident in the long term. So while getting somebody onboarded in your team, always ensure rare capability should be the right attitude, aptitude, and robust ethics. Now, if I put this, my filter of hiring somebody as a finance professional in my team, superimpose upon the CFA program. CFA program, friends, is something which has a very deep knowledge of the investment ecosystem with risk as a crucial component, and something that is built on a strong foundation of ethics. Great. Across level 1, level 2, and level 3, we have a certain percentage of weightage given to ethics, which is constant across all the 3 levels. And even after you get a CFA charter, ongoing basis, like all the friends mentioned, there is a CFA Society India, if you are based in India or whichever part of the world you are, where there are certain ongoing events, knowledge enhancements, and ethics related programs which you have to ongoing keep a part of as your career. So if we look at somebody who is a CFA charter holder, so when I'm evaluating 2 candidates, all else being the same, if one candidate is a CFA charter holder,
right,
then that gives me a higher level of comfort that this candidate will bring to the table deeper knowledge of the investment management ecosystem together with a stronger foundation of ethics. I'm not saying that if somebody is not done CFA program, she or he will have lesser knowledge or lesser ethics. No, I apologize. I'm not meaning that. But because as a part of the level 1, level 2, level 3, there is such a huge importance and focus given on the ethics component.
Right.
Very clear advantage that particular candidate, when she or he becomes a charter holder and is in the workforce, it will be much more embedded in their mind and in their way of doing work. So that is how I would like to look at hiring professionals in my team. And hence, whenever anybody is a CFA charter holder, or even if she or he is a CFA program candidate or a charter pending, what we call it, finished level 1, 2, and 3, awaiting charter, in that entire overall CFA community ecosystem, that gives, at least to me personally, a little bit higher level of comfort, because such candidates are more likely to fulfill my criteria of the rare commodity or rare aspect of right attitude, aptitude plus robust ethics.
I think that has been perfectly put across, Mr. Ghelani, and that was something which was on my mind also when I was introducing all of you. I had mentioned that it is with great confidence and great trust people, they hand over their finances, they hand over their hard-earned money to the financial managers to take care of it. So it becomes imperative that ethics is important and ethically things are done. Coming to you, Mr. Jayesh Gandhi, how do you see it? How crucial is the ethics factor in a CFA career?
Oh, ethics is the most important. Please understand, we are in the industry where the most important factor why somebody hands over their assets, their wealth to you to manage is the trust factor. This is an industry based on trust. And it is very, very important that we have ethical decision making or ethic as a foundation to the entire CFA program and the entire and foundation to the entire industry, basically the investment management industry. Let me highlight a couple of other points from the CFA program point of view. I have seen actually very few programs which incorporate ethics as one of the key factors or key important ingredient in the curriculum of a program. CFA does that. CFA program does that. In fact, like Anil mentioned, there is a separate important section for ethics in all the three levels, where the candidates are rigorously tested, and there is no exception made for that. We talk about this word ESG. The G in the word ESG stands for governance, and that governance part is one of the most important part for the corporate world to exist and to be productive for human society. And this governance is something which is a very, very critical part addressed through the ESG, through the ethics group within the CFA program. As a young professional, most of the professionals don't know what is right and wrong.
Right.
What CFA program does is tells them that, look, this is an ethical way of behaving and this is not an ethical way of behaving. Accepting gifts beyond a certain amount from prospective clients or market participants is not the right way of doing things. As young professionals, I did not know till somebody pointed out to me in the curriculum and the program that, look, this is not an ethical way of behaving. Getting the ethical framework right, or for example, getting the conflict of interest right in any community or within the corporate world is also one of the most important things that we have learned, that for institutions and companies to be successful and to have an the belief or the kind of credence that they want to establish in the community and in the industry, there has to be a way in which you have to avoid conflict of interest. Some of these issues are very effectively dealt with in the study that we do within the CFA program. So I think what is very, very important for us to understand is that ethics is a critical part of the investment management industry, because the whole industry is based on trust. What CFA program has done effectively is to incorporate this as part of the curriculum and enhanced it on a regular basis to incorporate some of the key issues that the developed world, the financial markets have faced over the years, and incorporate those in the risk factors and the critical factors within the curriculum. So it's now part of the curriculum. And so as the new issues come up, we have found effective way of dealing with those issues in an ethical manner. And that's what makes the whole program very, very sound and useful. Final point, I think the whole industry, investment management industry, will crumble if ethics is not followed. And it is very important that investment professionals, whether you are CFA charter holder or otherwise, follow an ethical way of doing work and doing business. And again, like I said, the ESG framework, the entire ESG framework, which all of us are, all of us believe in, and consider that to be a integral part of the investment industry, is based on this principle of ethics and governance.
Mr. Gandhi, it was absolutely, I would say, captivating listening to you, and because ethics is important, and the way you have underlined the importance of ethics vis-a-vis what has been mentioned in the curriculum, and how time and again the curriculum, the studies have been focusing to make a candidate understand or make a professional understand what is right, what is wrong is very important. And this is what I think personally, on a personal front, I feel that this is one of the reasons why this CFA program is important and different in as many ways. Coming to you, Mr. Chokshi, how does a CFA program differs from an MBA program? I think this is the basic which our audience would also like to understand, that what is the basic difference between these two programs?
Sure. So I think before I get onto that point, I think my colleagues on the panel very rightly spoke about trust, and I just wanted to add one point there, because in this business of investing, you can build trust once as you grow up in your career.
Very true.
If you destroy it, you'll be very, very lucky and very rare to get the chance to rebuild that trust a second time. So I think we don't have too many chances in this industry. So I think when the CFA program nurtures you with ethical courses on ethics and explains you what's right and wrong at an early stage in your career, it's essentially protecting you in your career. It is not just sort of preaching something, but it's essentially telling you that be careful, because you only have one chance to make a trust in this industry. You won't get the money again to manage if you break that trust. And then, as Anil mentioned earlier, accidents happen not immediately, but after 10, 20 years. So I think that early stage development is quite important, which the CFA program reiterates every year when we sign up for membership as well as charter holders. So I think that's a good iterative process for being a better investment professional. And obviously, coming to the idea of differentiating the CFA program from the various courses that we see, honestly, we living in India, there's always a new college or university coming up in every corner of our city. And what is the common barometer of what is a great skill set in investing? I think it's very difficult to judge or evaluate some of these qualifications that people pursue. And hence, I strongly believe that the kind of trust and the kind of consistency with which CFA charter holders enter an organization, I could very well hire two CFA charter holders from different batches and be rest assured that both will possibly have very little variation in their understanding of the investment concepts. Try doing that with two different MBAs or two different people from two other graduate courses, and the conclusion would be that there would be a lot of difference in how they think about investing, and in most cases they would be incomplete in their knowledge. So I think the CFA program differs simply on the basis that it's a complete set of courses for investing and building hard skills on research and portfolio analysis. So if you are really, essentially in simple words, trying to be a fund manager, as Anil mentioned, or trying to be a market specialist, or trying to be a sell-side analyst, or even being a trader, I think the basic and the specialized knowledge also at different levels is only offered to the CFA program. And MBA is good. So I'm an MBA graduate as well, but an MBA has a different purpose and a different time. The purpose of doing general business administration courses is to get more well-rounded knowledge of how businesses work, how the field of investing and finance works. Of course, you will have some hard skills on investing and research, but an MBA course is a place to debate, to build yourself as a person, to sort of become more confident about your viewpoints, your behavioral aspects of what you like in a career. For example, someone in the investment field could be a salesperson, needs to be very aggressive, where someone is an investment person needs to be very patient and unemotional. I think those are the kind of qualities that an MBA would possibly identify in you. at the end of a course, and you need to then figure out what you want to do in your career in investing. So I think a combination works best. An MBA has a role to build you as a better person, an individual who has a more long-term vision about what you want to do in your life, and possibly build the softer aspects of your skill set as well as you interact with a competitive class, and you sort of travel. Maybe you do an MBA outside the country to get some global exposure. But a CFA program is a standardized course across the world.
Right.
I mean, today when we interact with fellow professionals in other cities or other countries, we speak the same language of investing. We all go back to our books, and we all network and have opportunities to do business, or even sort of exchange notes on specific market aspects. So I think the CFA program gives you that advantage, and I would not compare it to any other qualifications.
Right. I think that was very well categorized, that what is the basic difference between the two programs, Mr. Chokshi. Himani, the role of finance manager in mitigating people's fear of high risk investment, how substantial it is?
Right. That's a very interesting question. So there are two things to this. See, one is so trading is different from investment. Trading is actually more, it is more impacted by the volatility in the market. Now, when we are talking about investment, we are saying long-term investments. Now, long-term investments, it's very interesting. Like, if you were running your own business, you would probably be running one or two businesses. You would do all the work required to start, to set it up, to get the possible regulations in place, to actually get the right people to run it, and then you would actually be impacted by the market volatility, and in case the business the business doesn't do well, it is difficult to shut it. You'll have to keep enduring the pain of the business actually not doing well. Look at it in another way. Look at it in a different perspective. If you are investing, you could be investing in 2 or 3. In fact, you could be investing in about 10 to 12 or even more businesses, and be a minority shareholder. Have the best in class people actually work for you, reap the benefits of it. So, and then if you think that, prospects of any of these 10 or 12 investments that you've made, if you see the prospects of any of these businesses are dwindling, you also have a listed market where you could actually go and sell it and invest in another business. So, it gives you the flexibility of owning more businesses as a minority shareholder. It gives you the flexibility of having the liquidity to kind of sell it. So in the market, and at the same time, you are so involved in actually, so now actually, if you look at, because of the whole, the evolution of the online media, everything is available online. Be it presentations, be it transcripts, be it, management interviews, be it, sector knowledge, everything is there on the online media. So if you think about it, if you were a businessman, you would probably, invest in 1 or 2 business and actually run it. But if you are an investor, it is actually the best, ROI, again, in terms of, investing in these different businesses, reaping the benefit of it, having the best of people work for you. Yes, you will have to endure the market volatility. But if the businesses are doing well over a longer period of time, you will, reap returns for the risk that you've taken. And they will actually be much higher in terms of, risk adjusted basis. They will actually give you better return, not just on risk, but also if you look at the FDs today, even on an inflation adjusted basis, the businesses that you will invest as a minority shareholder for investment in a longer term, they will actually give you much better returns than, say, an inflation adjusted FD or, some of the other bank products that are available. So I think, yes, the market is volatile, but that affects traders more than investors. Investors over a longer period, it gives you lots of opportunities to kind of reap benefits, in different sectors, in investing in the best of class people, investing, if you see new trends emerging, if you see new technologies coming up, something that you're very passionate about, you may find a company which is actually doing that business right, and you may want to invest in that particular business. So the investment profile, I mean, it gives you the opportunity to kind of invest in these different kinds of businesses. So yes, there is risk in investment in terms of volatility, but I think one should look at investment also on a longer term basis, looking at it as you're investing in your own businesses, but just that you will invest in more than 10, 12 businesses versus running your own business where you could at max probably run 2 or 3 businesses at one go, and also having the liquidity of exiting the business when the prospects dwindle. So I think that's something that kind of is something that I wanted to put across, saying
Right.
that's why investments are very interesting to not that volatile in my view.
Right. So there are also a lot of audience questions which are coming in. So one by one, we can take up these questions also. So the first question is for Mr. Gandhi. I am a recently qualified CA. How do I get into investment management? Mr. Jayesh Gandhi.
Congratulations for being a chartered accountant. So am I. Long time ago, being a chartered accountant, you actually have a very good advantage of being a investment professional. And the reason for that is that as a chartered accountant, you know how to analyze balance sheet and corporate reports, which is the foundation for the corporate world, which is what the investment industry is all about. So you have an advantage being a CA to enter the industry. I'm sure there are a fairly large amount of chartered accountants who become very successful investment managers, not only in India, but across the world. How can you start? I'll give you a couple of points, and some of them may be useful. First and foremost, you probably want to decide where you want to be. Either a buy side or a sell side. So that's a very important decision that you have to make, whether you want to be when you want to sell your analysis for a fee, or you want to actually be the decision maker for the asset classes that you want to work for. There is not one, but multiple asset classes for which there are investment professionals which are sought out for. For example, it's not only equities and fixed income anymore. It is real estate, it is commodities, it is FX, and I can go on. Even short-term rates have professionals, CFA Charter holders, and professionals working for them. So there is not one, but multiple asset classes which have opened up. And depending on your ability and your interest, you can select the asset class and, of course, the form. One quick question that somebody asked me recently is that, but I'm fresh. If you're fresh and you don't know where to start with, how do you start? I guess my answer to that would be, start with somebody who wants to hire you first. And typically what happens is that it is generally the sell side which will end up hiring you, because by definition there is much larger pool of investment professionals that sell side hires. So maybe you can start with that and then move into your role which you seek to do. Also very important and last point is that in India we have a very unique situation. We have some of the best global banks who have their back offices here in India, and so you should very actively consider analyzing and searching for those jobs. And we are not talking about 1 or 2 jobs. We are talking about jobs in thousands. They hire these people, the people in India, the professionals in India, to do analytical work not only for Indian companies but corporates across the world, governments and financial data of not only India but across the world. And these become very important source of jobs for young professionals, in India. So India has become de facto the back office, the analytical capital of the world, the business analytical capital of the world, and that's the opportunity that is available for all the young professionals entering the industry.
Mr. Gandhi, the best part of this webinar till now is that best from the industry have joined us, all the distinguished guests. people like you guiding the audience. I think this is the best part of how we have got on one single platform, and we are helping people who want to build their career in this particular sector and boost their career by getting the inputs from distinguished and celebrated guests like you, I would say. The next question is from Priyanka Pawar. And I would request Mr. Ghelani to kindly answer this question. Is CFA enough to get selected in the investment bank, or which skill set do we need to be an investment banker?
Well, I mean, definitely the CFA program will be very helpful to get a role into investment banking. Structurally, I feel I have never worked in investment banking, but how I see that particular line of the business is that very often we get in a broad terminology, like how earlier Jayesh Bhai mentioned that within investments, you need to first try and identify, I want to be in sell side, I want to be buy side. Likewise, investment banking is a broad area. Within that, you can either be in ECM, equity capital market, DCM, debt capital market, you can be in M&A, mergers acquisitions, you can be in sales and trading. So yes, definitely your CFA program will give you the knowledge and understanding of the overall investment ecosystem and risk management, which can help you to navigate across most of these areas of the investment banking business. Within that, each will have its own unique requirement. So, for example, if you want to be in, let's say, the DCM, debt capital market side, definitely all the knowledge you have gained during L1 and L3 relating to the bond math, relating to the derivatives, etc., will be very useful. In addition to that, you need to have a good network, good platform. You need to have a right set of people whom you can work with for raising the money. So I think in short, there is no single formula or answer. What I would request, I'm forgetting the name, Mr. Miss Pawar, I think so.
Priyanka.
Priyanka Pawar. On the platform of CFA Society India, where many of us are associated in volunteer capacity, we regularly come out with a document which we call as career guide. So our latest career guide was released just recently in 2022, where we have featured existing professional CFA charter holders in each of the segment of the investment banking industry. So that will help you to understand what actually is going on in that role and what are the skill sets you will need to succeed, to get a job first and then to succeed in that role. So I urge you, do take a look. You can go to the CFA Society India homepage or CFA Institute, just I don't know which page, but you can just Google it up, CFA India Career Guide, and you will get this easily accessible, free for anybody to download and utilize. A lot of effort has been put to curate and put it up. But separately also, if any such specific questions, do feel free to reach out to us on the CFA Society India platform. One of our volunteer colleagues will be happy to walk you through that career guide. But I assure you, it will be very useful.
I'm sure this guidance from you, Mr. Ghelani, will definitely help Priyanka. And in very simple language, you have explained the career opportunity, the path and everything. I think I'm sure that the audience would have a lot of takeaways from this answer of yours, Mr. Ghelani. And my next question from the audience is from Mr. Brijesh Patel. And I'm sorry, Brijesh Patel is a student, chemical engineering student. Himani, Mr. Chokshi, I would like to I would request you to take up this question, which says that I'm a chemical engineering student and currently in the 4th, which is the last year, and I want to pursue a career in financial field in future. What should I do? Mr. Chokshi.
Yeah. Hi. No, I think you're in a very good position to be part of the investment industry at this stage. As I spoke earlier, that the industry is quite short of talent on the ESG side of things, and while Jayesh ji, who's my senior and spoke about G a lot, but I think what is important is on the E side of things, we are looking for specialists who understand the environmental sciences, who understand how that impacts investment risks and opportunities to invest into some of the decarbonization efforts around the world. I think the kind of skill sets you need to analyze those kind of investment thesis is someone with a background in chemicals, a background in material sciences, or even a background in metallurgy. So I think it is naive to say that you only need a investment background or a commerce background to be in the equity markets per se. I think people who come with these very specialized domain expertise like you have add tremendous value on the research side of things. I think with the CFA program, along with chemical background in chemicals learning, I think you are even quite well placed to understand how pharmaceutical companies can work, how drugs are manufactured, and I think the entire domain expertise eventually aids you in your career in investing and finance as well. So I think there is no disadvantage as such. Rather, you need to be more opportunist. You need to see where you can bring the best of your skills and knowledge to start a career in finance. Maybe I just gave an example of being an ESG analyst, but maybe you could also look at being part of doing some research on the sector where a lot of knowledge on chemicals is really required. I think it's a good start. As Jayesh mentioned earlier, you have to enter the industry. That's the best opportunity. Whoever offers you the an interesting role on the sales side to cover something they see is quite sort of for which you are well equipped to handle. I think you should just move in and experiment, and then obviously you have chances to switch sectors in research, to switch capabilities and competencies also. So I think I think you have a great advantage because you bring in a different perspective, which very few people end up. In fact, to give you an example, a lot of CIOs I've seen in the past come with a background in software and technology, and I would wonder why they're not why they're in the industry at senior levels. The answer is they came in as research analysts for the tech industry. They came in with a lot of background of how a technology company works, and I think those domain expertise eventually aid you in a very specialized way in the investment field.
I'll add just one thing, Smriti, if you permit.
Yeah.
There are many other such examples also. Like we had a very seasoned pharma analyst, and he used to earlier work in the pharma industry, technical side. I know a person. She had a biology background, and then currently she's in some very sharp finance field. And common thread for some of these has been CFA program. Basically, like CFA program does not need a finance or accounting background. It can be from any background. Right. But concepts of investing and finance should be able to get absorbed, and that can help you in making this pivot. That is what I would like to just add.
That is wonderful. I think Mr. Chokshi and Mr. Ghelani, this was very positive and hopeful for the students who are pursuing right now their career in a different field, and they are hopeful or they are dreaming of building a career in finance sector. I think that was very positive, very motivating for them. The next question is from Ashutosh Mishra. He is asking, what is the future of CFA in India? I would request Himani to kindly take up this question.
That's a brilliant question again. So I'm also a chartered accountant, and I've been around, I've been working in the investment management industry for 20 years now. And like Jayesh ji mentioned, I actually started out in a KPO, in one of the global KPOs, and then moved to the sell side, equity research and sales, and then kind of got the opportunity to move to the buy side. So, all of this has been possible because of, because of my CFA background as well. Because, it's very important to have a basic understanding of the markets. And once you have that, you can actually shift between industries. You can shift between jobs. You can shift between different sectors that you want to cover, because across the board, if you look at financial models, the sector differs. You need to understand the sector, but the valuation, different ways in which you can value a company, different ways you can look at, a balance sheet to see if there are any corporate governance issues. Different ways in which you can see that whether this company has, has prospective growth or not. All of this kind of is built in through the CFA curriculum. The understanding is built in while you were studying. Not just that, if I were to look at, there's a lot of derivative knowledge or the options, a lot of, volumes today are happening on the option side. And if you look at the black, and a lot of that is actually based on option Greeks, which is basically the Black-Scholes model. All of that understanding of how the option premium is actually calculated is all there in the CFA curriculum. So and then again, moving from, we've covered equity, we've covered options, which are derivatives on equities. If you look at debt market, again, Indian debt markets have started to open up now. You have, the Indian bond markets being included in global indices, which also means that, moving from being plain vanilla debt, we are going to have more structured products, which also means one requires the knowledge of how to value bonds, or how to, value yields, how to kind of value these different structures which are there, and whether they are investable or not. So that, again, the debt part of it is again covered in the CFA curriculum. So again, and then, having said that, FX, right, which is again the biggest market globally. So basics of the foreign currency market is also covered in the CFA curriculum. Then again, if you are, if you're not in, you're looking at companies from a credit rating perspective, again, your basic multiples, the basic, ratios that you need to look at when you're kind of evaluating the company from a credit perspective is also there in the CFA curriculum. So see, what is happening is, as a market is actually opening up and it's deepening in the sense that there are more participants. We have more, foreign institutional investors wanting to invest in India. The financialization of saving has just started. We are just starting to see more FI funds, FI funds wanting to invest in India. So, as we see this, we actually believe that, the CFA curriculum is the the nature of the CFA curriculum is such that it kind of enables you to take up whichever financial market that you plan to, take up a career in. And once you've done that, once you've entered the industry, whichever one that you want to enter in, it also has built in the aptitude in you of curiosity to kind of learn and upskill. So, and then you have a network of CSAs and CFAs in the country. Then you have the Bombay, CFA Society, where, they keep organizing events where you will meet people, you will interact with more people. Every new topic is actually discussed there. So I think the CFA provides a very, very long-term opportunity. And then again, it's a global degree, right? So even in case you move from India to any country abroad, it's recognized globally. So I think, be it markets, be it countries, or be it jobs, everywhere a CFA degree is relevant. And therefore, I believe that, I'm sure the other participants will agree with me that CFA is the way forward for India as well.
Wow. Well said, Himani. I think this will definitely open doors for people, for professionals, and of course, where we stand globally. I think that will definitely strengthen our position, because a promising career will reap in good benefits for the country, will reap in extraordinary benefits for the country when it will bring good professionals to the forefront. Thank you so much to everyone. I hope that today's webinar was beneficial in addressing all the queries and thoroughly exploring the investment management industry. Our heartfelt gratitude to all the panelists for their valuable insights. I'm sure that everyone in the audience had a lot of key takeaways from this webinar. With this, I'll take your leave. Thank you so much once again. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.